Good morning, friends. Welcome to Akulmach Live, and this is a live show which is dedicated on business, history, and technology. If you are watching us live, you will get inspired. You will also get a lot of ideas, and this is a discussion mode-based program, which will be presented by me. My name is Chandrakant, and my colleague.
I'm Kanchan. How are you all?
And so, without further ado, let us begin our show. And by the way, we are live, so your messages will also get displayed here. And we have two messages right now, one from singer Diksha Patel and also from Tehseen. So, if you have any question regarding the subjects that we are going to discuss, kindly feel free to send in your comments. So, let us begin.
So, Chandrakant, we have a really very interesting day yesterday because in India we got our new parliament. A new parliament, the old parliament, which generally we talk about the colonial past, and we have left that past behind and we have shifted to new parliament. And I also want to tell my viewers that the old parliament is approximately 100-year-old parliament, and now the new parliament, it is thrice bigger than the old parliament. So that is something which is we are very proud. At least I'm feeling very proud that we have a very brand new parliament and with lot of modern amenities which is being required. Let it be the kind of wiring or kind of computer access to the member of parliament. All is brand new. All on part of technology is being given into this parliament. Two things which are really mesmerizing is that the sitting arrangement of Lok Sabha, which is the main house, is on the basis of peacock, which is our national bird, and the sitting arrangement of Rajya Sabha, which is done on the basis or on the replica of lotus, which is our national flower. And one more thing which I would like to share to our viewer is that Parliament also holds banyan tree, which is the national tree of India. So this is something which I want to share. What you really feel about this new parliament, and how really you feel?
Well, in my opinion, this is a mesmerizing building altogether, and I think I am feeling very proud simply because it's one of the largest parliament in the world. I mean, if you look at the parliament size, it's it's probably biggest parliament in the world. It can house more than 800 or about approximately 900 member of parliaments. There are separate offices for all these member of parliament, and as you pointed out, this symbolism, there are a whole lot of symbolism. If you look at the building itself, it is triangular in shape but also hexagonal, because as you see, the corners are not the sharp corner, these are hexagonal, so it has certain significance. So we can call it hexagon. We have a combined hall within the parliament building which can house all 900 member of parliaments at the same time, so joint session can be held. And you mentioned about various systems being present in the parliament building. This is state of the art. It is completely Wi-Fi. It has automatic translator. So up to what I've read about it while doing research on the new parliament building, more than 100 languages translator is fitted. And then in the old system, where even though in the old parliament there were a lot of new systems and the servers, etc., but this one is that whoever speaks something, it is all system driven. And there is a huge supercomputer type system which has been installed and complete backup. There are different balconies given for journalists to be present, and there are different arenas, just like you see the Star Wars, these senators moving around. So similarly, in the new parliament there are places for foreign dignitaries and so on. So it's a complete revamp And the old Parliament building, which you can see in the background here, was built nearly 100 years back.
I also want to add one thing here that the construction, the building material is being collected from all over India. Let it be carpet or the wooden work which is being done. Everything is, I mean, it's like you can see a mini India inside the parliament. So that is such a wonderful, and that gives a kind of sense of pride. And I think it's an issue or it's a topic of pride for each and every Indian.
Absolutely, Kanchan. And you see, there are a lot of open spaces. So within the building, there are a lot of eco-friendly setup being provided. There is enough sunlight, and there are mirrors being installed. So what happens is that you don't have to switch on the lights all the time, because you can see this is a huge building. So there are mirrors being installed at the places where the sunlight can be reflected into the central hall. And everything is LED, needless to point out, and also completely, even though it's open from all sides, but it's highly secure. There are anti-gates for president, a separate gate for prime minister and for vice president. So now the security agencies will also know exactly, like a cookie cutter, that who's coming at which gate they have to provide security. So I think all in all, this is a great building. Let it start operational. What do you think, Kanchan?
Yes, I think they have also started, because yesterday there was a session which is held in our new parliament, and our prime minister has addressed all member of parliament and other dignitaries in this new building. So it is a new start, and I think I really love the concept. I really love the new parliament. And one thing which is, because this is our own indigenous building, it is away from our colonial past, and that is something very big start and a very big kind of topic we should be discussing, and we should feel proud that now at last we are away from the colonial past and we had been starting afresh. So that is something I feel good regarding it. I feel pride, and this is something which is a very good initiative which is done by the present government.
Of course, and the old parliament building will be constructed into a museum. Whatever we speak, all the member of parliament speak or do, everything is recorded minute by minute, second by second. So parliament is one building which actually creates a lot of history, history documents, that once you do something in the parliament building, that will be stored for thousands of years. It will maintain the history. So that is why new parliament building is very important. And I think there is a lot of future proofing that has been done also in the new parliament, where the parliament will suffice the need for next 100 years for India. So I think a lot of future planning, a lot of latest technology, and also potential for growth is also provided in the new parliament building. So all right, shall we move on to the next subject?
Yes, sure.
All right, so the next subject is related to America. And by the way, friends, we are talking about some of the events which happened today. Today is Monday, May 29th. And this information is about America. And this is related to Rhode Island. So many of you may not know how America came up. So we are not going to tell you the history of America. But initially, there were 13 separate colonies in America, and when America did not exist, and all these colonies were governed by British. So in nutshell, the United States of America was similar to India, colonized by British or UK. And all these 13 colonies used to report into monarch of England, etc., etc. However, America was formed, and today is a historic day for America. So if Americans are watching our live stream, they should celebrate, because Rhode Island was a separate colony, and it started following the Constitution, US Constitution today, and joined the USA. So why this is a historic moment? Because if you may not know, I'd like to share some trivia with you. On the flag of United States, there are 50 stars, which represent the current situation. That means 50 states in America, and 13 red and white stripes. Those are the indication of the original 13 colonies which actually formed America. Rhode Island being the last one, which joined today in the year 1790 on May 29th. Your opinion, Kanchan, what do you think about this?
Actually, when we talk about America and generally in the last few years, it was being understood that America is a kind of a mother of democracy, which I really do contradiction, because India is the birthplace of democracy, and though the kind of incident which you are covering with 13 colonies who established their US constitution. But I just want to make clear things that many people may think that where the constitution is being written for the first time, it is by the people for the people kind of concept which is being introduced in USA, and that kind of impression is there for the people, but that is not the case, because if you really consult our old manuscripts or scriptures, that will show that at the time of Shakuntala and Dushyant, democracy was prevalent, and there's one incident which tells us that Shakuntala went to Dushyant in the midnight, and then there was a doorkeeper. He said, okay, fine, you stay here, because in democracy, in Loktantra, anybody can meet anytime to the ruler of the state. So this is something which I wanted to share the viewers, but the incident which you are telling is really, really remarkable, especially for US and US citizens.
Well, we have more information about US we will be covering, but there is a message from Miss Yadav, and Miss Yadav is saying that the Parliament building looks like Surya temple, which is similar to Surya Vidisha, Surya temple, which is present in Vidisha. So I think thank you for giving that comment. Probably we probably have to go and research on Vidisha Surya temple. Probably we can find out. In fact, the old Parliament was also based on old Shiva temple in the Jhansi district, if I'm not mistaken. You have any opinion, Kanchan, on that?
Yes, actually it is said, because I've seen a film, and it used to describe that how this whole the pillar of the Parliament, the old Parliament, is so identical to a temple which is the Shiva temple in Jhansi, I think. So actually we have to do a separate program on these concepts of Indian Parliament. I think that is be very essential, since our audience are also very intelligent and they know. So I would like to do a show on that in a very near future.
Absolutely, and thank you, Miss Yadav, for participating. Sorry, and also giving your comments. All right, let's move on to the next
Sure.
item. All right. Well, this is again about America. The date is May 29, which is today, but the year is 1765. And I will like to give little historic background about this. And that is, why in the first place these 13 colonies which we spoke some time back rose against the British colonial rule. And that is the reason why this incident happened today. And it's about the historic speech of one of the founding father. His name was Patrick Henry, and British actually implemented the Stamp Act. And if you are in India or any other British colony or British Raj or Commonwealth, you would know about this particular act, because we still, whenever we buy property or any immovable assets, we have to do agreements on a stamp paper. This was actually started by the British. They implemented worldwide across all their colonies in order to keep better record and also make money out of it. And American population at the time actually rose against the British colonial rule because of this particular act. They didn't want to pay anything to the government. and government actually started collecting money for for registering the property, and that is how the American Revolution started. So many people may not even know that what triggered the American Revolution, and this is the event which triggered. So before I go forward, let's take opinion from Kanchan.
Yeah, I think this is an incident which is exactly like Mangal Pandey, which triggered the in 1857 triggered the call of independence in India. So I think that is a crucial point, and somebody who is a student of America history, he should be knowing, and this is something which goes far by adding to the American independence in a long way.
Absolutely. So today, when American colonies, these 13 colonies, actually revolted against the colonial rule of the British Raj, they used to call it colonial rule, we used to call it British Raj, against the Stamp Act, and on the revolutionary, the British colonial rule imposed law of treason, which is the highest possible punishment you can or highest possible crime that you can commit against a nation. So all these American revolutionary were booked under treason, including all the founding fathers. And today, 1765, Patrick Henry gave his speech against the treason, asking all countrymen, at the time they were Americans, to unite and rise against the British colonial rule. And that is how the trigger to revolution towards freedom, towards liberty started. Your opinion, Kanchan?
So actually, I just want to ask you that since we are taking up this incident, so earlier when this before the American revolution, do you know that the land which used to the people used to purchase, it was on a very lower price, and they can cover that land as much as they can, and that land used to become theirs. So something was also, it's not exactly like that, but I just want to share. I hope that any of the audience can give the opinion. Earlier, before the Stamp Act or Stamp Duty, which was there on the purchase of the land in India, there was no such thing before, because anybody can make their houses, their residential houses anywhere. There was no kind of obstacles, or there's no rule as such when we talk about antiquity. So there, that kind of freedom was there. You can make your home anywhere. So do you have knowledge about these kind of act which was there prevalent in antiquity in India?
Well, there was rural land and there was urban land.
Correct.
That was their classification always. So in India, whatever was owned by the king will then part ways with as a gift to his juniors, to his ministers, etc., or as a prize to anyone who does good job in India. But in the United States, when this act was imposed, which is May 29 today, the entire three colonies, people from these three colonies rose against the British colonial rule. After that, the American country was formed. Much after that, there were a lot of activities. We are not discussing the entire American Revolution. After that, the American basically started removing the Stamp Act, and after that, because they had to expand westward, because these 13 colonies were mostly on the coastal side of the eastern coast. What are the famous cities in US, like Boston, New York, and Chicago, etc. So these were the colonies, and in order to expand further, because on the western side of the country, there were a lot of jungles, mountains, rivers, etc. But all of that was the Native American territory, and these colony European settlers had to spread. So what happened was the American government, which was their own liberated government, they removed the Stamp Act and they said, now go and conquer the West. So if you can put a stone, you can put a stone, and 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 in an area, that land will become yours. No paperwork required. So this is how the America became what it is today. 3 times bigger than India because it expanded towards the western side. That is my information, Kanchan.
Yeah, it is something like I have also read, and it was kind of a gold mine for earlier settler to take up that big portion of land in America and then settle down. And I think the emergence of cowboy culture also came through due to these kind of endeavors which is being done by local people. But we will discuss this maybe some other time, which is again a very interesting topic.
All right, so Miss Yadav is giving us a suggestion that we should also speak in English with Hindi in addition to English. Certainly, Miss Yadav, thank you so much. We can talk in Hindi as well, but we like to maintain English as a main language because that is the language of our channel. Our channel is English, so we can speak in Hindi. If you have a question in Hindi, we will definitely speak in Hindi. Not an issue. All right, let's move on to the next subject, or shall we take a small break?
Yes, but I think we should be taking a small break.
All right, friends. So we will be taking a small break, and remember, don't go anywhere. We are discussing about the important incident which have happened today on May 29th.
So, welcome back.
All right, let's move to the next subject that we have on our list today, which is related to May 29th. And this is about the Istanbul, or if you know Turkey today, it was the capital of Turkey is Ankara, not Istanbul. That is one thing which most people confuse, because Istanbul is the most visited city and a tourist place today, and that has been the case for last 2000 years. It is a mesmerizing capital. It was settled. It was actually established by the Roman during the Roman era, and till 1453, Istanbul was known as Constantinople, and it was a Roman country. Finally, on May 29th, the Ottoman Turks defeated the Constantinople, converted most of the people into Islam, changed the country to Turkey as we know it today, Turkiya, the latest name, and Constantinople was renamed as Istanbul. What do you think about it?
Actually, Constantinople has a quite interesting history. If you just somebody who want to know about the Constantinople, there are 3 kind of crusades which is being executed by Christian people against Islam, and somehow on 1453 it ultimately fall today. And later on, this is regarding Roman, but again after Roman there was a Christian territory. They also fought against the Islam, and it is quite an interesting history to really read and know about how things have happened. It is the instance, even the young children also fought for their liberty and for their freedom. So that is something which makes Constantinople a quite interesting place, and a place to look at and learn things from the history.
Well, for people who do not know about Constantinople, it is surrounded by ocean on three sides. So, thinking about the ancient time, it was not easy to invade from the ocean front, and only one side was connected to the mainland, and there also there was a river, so there was a natural barrier. Therefore, this site was chosen as a capital city during the Roman era for forming a new empire called Nova Roma. So we know that the Roman Empire actually fell in Italy in the 4th century. However, the Nova Roma, which is New Rome in English, continued till 1453, another 1000 years. And later on, they converted to Christianity, and they actually they were very rich. They had a lot of prosper people, a lot of houses, and the city was protected by huge walls, formidable walls, which nobody could defeat them. So it is not that the Ottomans were the only one who tried and succeeded. There were numerous battles being fought for Constantinople, and all the attacks were repelled because it was not easy to basically defeat these walls or the defensive structures that Romans had built that lasted for more than 1500 years. Finally, Ottoman Turks brought in their artillery, and walls could not stand the artillery attack, and that is how the Constantinople fell to Ottoman Turks. And you know that Turkey is a European country, Eastern European country. So in Eastern Europe, which is predominantly Christian region, Turkey is the only Islamic country in that region. Your opinion?
Yes, actually, though if you really see current the lineage or the population of Turkey, it is more inclined to Christianity, or more the culture and the traditions they follow. Though they are most of the people, they follow the religion-wise Islam, but whole kind of aura and structure and the feelings, it's more of a westernized and more free moving society. So that is something which is unique as far as Turkey is concerned.
Well, it is important. It's a historic day because Turkey was formed 1453, May 29, which is today. Let's move to the next subject. And this is about the current time. You know, we are talking about AI and what is happening today. Now, there are two segments in our society. One is saying that, okay, let us accept AI. It is inevitable. It is going to come. Even if we delay it, we will get it after 3 years, or maybe next year, maybe after 10 years. So it is inevitable. Just like, you know, in the Terminator movie, the war was inevitable, you know, so things like that. So AI has to come in either today or day after tomorrow, next year. It is here to last, and it is now basically doing a lot of our heavy lifting. You know, AI is being used in Google, it is being used in e-governance, it is used in exploration. So everywhere there is an AI component of the system. What scientists are more worried about the general intelligence, as we say, general knowledge in humans, and that is the knowledge because of which the human is called intelligence, and that is why the IQ tests are being done. So right now, artificial intelligence can work on things which it has been taught. But if it start getting general intelligence, that means it start becoming more aware, self-aware, that will be the problem. Your opinion, Kanchan, what do you think about this very pertinent subject?
Well, when we're talking about artificial intelligence or AI, it is, as you said, it is inevitable. It has to come. Now, I just recall one movie when you say self-awareness of AI and general intelligence, artificial intelligence is that of iRobot, and it really depicts how the artificial intelligence becomes self-aware and starting that became a problem for human. But at the same time, I'm quite positive about artificial intelligence, and I understand. I am with all the people who are developing AI for the betterment of human life. Because if you recall, there was an incident, there was a heart operation which is done by a doctor sitting from one city, and I think I am not able to recall that city, but it was done. It's a remote operation which is being done, that to a heart surgery, and it became successful. So here the crucial role is being played by artificial intelligence, and definitely we have to segregate two aspects. One is human awareness, and the second is artificial intelligence, and how smart we are to really, as a human and a homo sapien, that we can control AI rather than being controlled by it. So that is a finer line, and everybody has to look into that. And that is kind of worry, because we cannot be all solely dependent on AI. We have to do something of our own so that we can dominate the AI rather than being dominated. That is my whole concern and whole worry.
Okay, so you are worried. So let me ask you, you are falling into the category of people who are worried. And there are people who are asking, hey, we need to regulate AI. You cannot have AI just being freely, doing anything. Because right now, if you look at the YouTube platform itself, there are so many videos which are completely AI generated. The voice is AI, and the characters are also AI generated. There are a lot of free softwares being provided where you can actually create characters. Just we both are bringing ourselves in front of the people. We are talking, we are bringing our face. But then if you look at the YouTube or any other video platform today, it is completely rampant with all this AI content. We don't know whether this content is real or is being generated just to beat the algorithm. So your worry is very valid, but can you really stop this? I mean, you can regulate it. Can you really stop it?
That is something quite a crucial question. We cannot stop it. That's what I feel. That's my gut feeling, that we cannot stop it. But again, actually, what I would like to more concentration. My more concentration is on regulating things rather than stopping it. Because stopping will not help. Anything which is coming in our life, we cannot stop it. But you can always regulate it. And AI, I don't say it's bad. It's a need of the requirement. We need for the progress for human race. We need in medical, we need in engineering, we need in space science. So all this is, we require AI. But as I pointed out, we cannot, as a Homo sapien, we have been a very big and very remarkable past from gatherers and hunters to sit here and talk to our fellow beings. So we have a remarkable past, and that remarkable past, we have that kind of capacity and strength to control the AI. That is why I feel optimistic. But yes, worry is there, and every worry has a solution. And we, as human and as expert of AI, we should look into that.
All right, I think the worry is genuine, and this is a new subject, so we will keep bringing this subject in the next live streams. So let us move on to the next topic of today, and this is about politics. Would you like to say something about this?
Well, Ghulam Nabi Azad has a vast political career. He being the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, and you know that I lived in Jammu and Kashmir, and I have found memories of this person, because he is somebody who do something right for the people. He thinks about like any other contemporary politician of that time. So I have more concern and more respect for Ghulam Nabi Azad, and he had been quite a person who even Prime Minister also praised him for doing good work. So that is what one thing just I want to add in. You want to tell something to audience about his achievements?
Well, certainly, Ghulam Nabi Azad has nearly 40 years of public career, and he had held many positions, and most of his time, because he was dedicated to his party, he spent a lot of time in the south of India for campaigns, etc. But that is not the point that we are discussing today. We are discussing about the recent development where some of these parties, the political parties who are in the opposition, boycotted the inauguration of the parliament building. And so the house is completely divided when it comes to opposition. These parties who are having negative mindset, they said we will not go for the inauguration. However, Ghulam Nabi Azad is in opposition, and he is not alone. Actually, there are so many other people. So information that I'm trying to give through this live stream is that he actually told the opposition parties not to do opposition for the sake of opposition. In fact, they should praise that there is a new parliament building, which is the largest parliament in the world and state of the art, and it can house so many new MPs. And here I also want to share the new information, that is, the new parliament has extra sitting space. That extra sitting space is also required because as per the constitution of India, each member of parliament can represent about 3 million people, 3 lakhs for Indians and 3 million people for rest of the world. And 3 million people is a huge number. So one person representing 3 million people itself is a huge number. At the same time, the population is 1.4 billion. So you can imagine, how many MPs, new MPs are required in order to, cover the entire population of India, so that the concerns of the population, electorate, can be brought in to the central location where all these concerns from across the country can be discussed in the central location. And that is why the parliament is important, and that is why, being in opposition, Ghulam Nabi Azad told all the opposition leaders not to do this and must join the government in inaugurating the parliament building.
Yeah, actually, Chandrakant, you know that almost 20 parties have done opposition, and they have boycotted the inauguration of parliament. I think that is not a fair game these opposition parties are playing. And you see, for the first time, the golden scepter is also being placed in parliament, and that is such a huge event, because it is connecting from our Indian culture and heritage to there is a two-way kind of event which is associated with the scepter, which is called as Sengol. And because it was also handed over to Jawaharlal Nehru from Lord Mountbatten when the transfer of power was done from Britain to India. And it has a long history of Chola dynasty, where there was a ritual of transferring the power from one king to another. So this is the two-way kind of importance of this symbol which is being placed in parliament. So I think the opposition party who have boycotted, I think it's not a fair game for them. This parliament belongs to people of India, and they should respect the people of India. That is what. And I think Ghulam Nabi Azad has done something remarkable. He understood the right way of doing standing for the things. As he said, opposition should oppose the all concrete thing rather than everything. So that is something which I have all salute to this gentleman, who is a quite seasoned politician.
And important thing is that he is also part of the opposition, so he is basically having some sanity. So audience, people who are watching us live, what do you think? Kindly share your thoughts, and your messages will get displayed here. Let's move on to the next subject. But friends, we will take a short break. The next subject is about Google, so don't go anywhere. We will take a short break and be right back with you. All right, friends, this information is about Google, and today is May 29th, and it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. You see, India is such a large country, and now India is the most populous country. We have overtaken China as well. There are, human density, which is quite high in India. Per square kilometer, a lot of people live. So in this land, which is India, and also the surrounding countries, the highest concentration of humans live. and there are a lot of structures, ancient road, new roads, new buildings, etc., etc. And Google provides street view as part of the Google Map services. And in order to provide the street view, uh, they need to basically carry a special device on a vehicle and take the 3 dimension or 360 degrees pictures, which is then incorporated into street view in the Google Map. As you know, the Google Map is used by everyone. There is radio taxi drivers, there are autos, people like you and me, the GPS of Google, and it's free service which is provided by Google. The last mile was not available in India, although it is available in the US, where you can actually reach to the last point. But now Google has announced that Google Street View is now available for every small village in India. That means the entire India is now covered by Google Map. It's a very big deal.
Yes, absolutely. It's quite a big deal because we cannot now, when we go out, we don't ask anybody, the trespassers, and we don't ask things. We just see that the Google. We don't even do trespassing. We don't take help of any passing by person, and because we have Google Map, and this is quite interesting and very solid information which you are giving, because now even the villages we can locate in the Google Map, the roads we can locate in Google Map, and in case if people who are fond of driving and going to places, from some people drive from Bombay to Delhi or Delhi to Chandigarh, so they can actually have a more finer view of villages, and they can stay one night stay and find out and enjoy the life of village, which is remarkable, especially in India. Now there are many smart cities also are coming up. Many dignitaries and many popular film stars are also adopting villages and making it advanced. So I think this is something this is a part of this advancement, and I think this is a good move, and this is a good information to be shared by the people.
Certainly, this is a wow moment, for India, because now we don't have to basically ask anyone. All we have to do is ask the Google Maps, and we can reach our destination. And important thing is that the Google is not only the, it certainly works on the location-based services, but you can also find out where is the ATM, where is the bank, where is the hospital, where is a mall, things like that. So like you said, if you are doing an intercity travel in India and in between you feel hungry and you want to basically spend time, you don't want to basically keep driving around, on Google Map that kind of information is available. So if all the villages of India are now part of Google Street View, this information can be location based information, can be very, very useful. Don't you think so?
Yes, it is very useful. In fact, I am planning to take a car and go intercity travel very soon, and then see it myself, that how this is helping me, and surely it will be helping me. That is, I am very sure about.
Great. Let's move to the next item today. And this is related to Mr. Mukesh Ambani, and it is also related to chocolates. What has happened is that Mukesh Ambani, or the group which is headed by Mukesh Ambani, which is Reliance Industries Limited, they have spent 74 crores to acquire a chocolate company called Lotus Chocolate. And by doing this, they are entering the already established huge chocolate market of India, which is predominantly ruled by Nestle, Cadbury and Amul. Nestle and Cadbury are specialized in dark chocolate, which is Kit Kat and all these dark chocolates, whereas Amul and Nestle also specialize in white chocolate. So it depends on the taste palette. Some people prefer dark chocolate, some people prefer white chocolate. However, being a nation of 1.4 billion individuals, it's a huge market which is now being entered by Reliance. So are you excited?
I'm very much excited because I really like chocolates and I want to eat it. Now I have more options to really find out and take more, try more taste actually. So I like black chocolate. I used to say any type of chocolate, I like that. So I think that is something which is creating waves in the market of chocolate market, because since Reliance they are there and they have a massive deal which is being done with the Lotus chocolates, and I think they will grab the market very soon. That is what happens when Reliance comes into the market.
Well, I think the acquisition is also huge. It's like 75 crores. So they will get all the facilities, they will get the supply logistics of the Lotus chocolate. I don't know whether I've ever seen Lotus chocolate, but I think with Reliance weight being put behind this new setup, they will certainly pump in a lot of money, create a new distribution network across the country, hire some new people to come out with new types of chocolates, new variants. So a lot of churn is going to happen, and I think Reliance is among the top 10 companies globally. They have the muscle power, they have the finances, and they will definitely create ripples in the market, which is predominantly ruled by Cadbury and Nestle, isn't it?
Right, right. So I think there's a lot of competition is coming on the way of Nestle, Cadbury, and Amul. So Amul, I think, and even the Cadbury, Nestle, they have their other products also. But I think the major chunk is also being in that basket where there's a lot of competition due to Reliance coming into this market of chocolates.
Great. Let's move on to the next one. And this is about the 2000 rupee note. So, Kanchan, why didn't you speak about it?
Well, recently government has stopped 2000 rupees note, and they are no more in circulation. And primarily the cause is that many people, the bad people actually, they have consolidated the rupee, 2000 rupees, and it is not in the circulation in the market. And that is why government has taken a decision by September they can deposit this 2000 rupee note and take the lower denomination of the notes. So I just want to tell my viewers that 2000 note is not in circulation anymore, so don't go for that.
Well, what has happened is that while the 2000 currency has been discontinued, but the trivia question for the viewers is: have you seen a 2000 rupee note in past couple of years? That is a question. So if you're watching the program, you can type in that message if you have 2000 rupees note. So let me share some trivia, more trivia, that the RBI, which is the Central Bank of India, has prime responsibility of printing the currency note and also managing, replacing the old notes with new one, etc. So the amount of 2000 rupee note which is being printed is equal to 44 billion US dollars, or roughly about 3 trillion Indian rupees, which is equal to about 3% or 10% of the Indian economy. And you know that India is the 5th largest economy in the world. Imagine 10% of the economy is not visible to you. 10% of the economy, all these 2000 rupee note is lying somewhere in somebody else's go down, not in circulation. I have personally not seen a 2000 rupee note, and that is why even if you go to an ATM, I would love to have a 2000 rupee note, but what I get from the ATM is only 500 rupees note.
Yeah, but I think primarily that is also because we are all indulged in digital transfer of the money. So that is could be one point where people are very scarcely seeing 2000 note.
Well, so where it is gone then? 10% of the note which was printed by RBI released in 2016, and we are in 2023, so roughly about 7 years. Why don't you see 2000 rupee note?
That's what, because it is being held by people who are into black marketing. So I think that could be one point.
So that is the whole point. And what is happening, the information which is very relevant today on May 29th is that when you go to the bank, first of all, I am sure nearly 99% Indians may not go to the bank for replacing, because I don't think anybody has 2000 rupee note. And 2000 rupee is not such a big amount that you need to keep it safe in your home closet, because if you get 2000 rupees note, the chances are that you would have spent it by now. So you may not have normal person may not have 2000 rupee note, and you don't need to keep this high denomination because you're doing digital transactions, right? Important thing that we want to tell the viewers is that if you have one or two notes, then the bank will take your ID proof. That is the important thing.
Okay, that is a news to me. When you have to share the ID proof while depositing the 2000 rupees and give all the details to bank professionals. Okay, but I think that is a good way of collecting 2000 note, because already the 2000 note is suffering due to black market, and I think this is the way to go.
Absolutely. So after September 30th, the 2000 rupee note will not, the 2000 rupee note is already discontinued, but the government is also saying that there is a limit of up to 8 notes that you can exchange. So I think RBI has done a little bit of study that who will have 2000 rupee notes, and 8 note is equal to roughly 20,000 rupees, roughly. So I don't think people are keeping so much cash today because everything is digital. So people who have the cash, they are probably having too many 2000 rupees notes, and those kind of people will definitely have a big problem now. So information that we want to give through our live stream is that even if you have 1 or 2 notes, you need to carry your Aadhaar card or some sort of ID proof. Without that, you will not be able to exchange your 2000 rupee note.
So going forward, okay.
Well, this information is also about the consumers in India, and whenever you go and buy any consumer product today, you sometimes the shopkeeper says, hey, give me your mobile number. Now the problem is that if you give your mobile number, then you start getting all these unwanted calls. You start getting spams, etc., which can be very risky, because these spammers are once they have your telephone number, they can actually make a spam call, and then they know they are very intelligent, they have the techniques, they can actually gain access to your mobile phone, and then they can steal some of the information, maybe gain access to your bank account, etc. So that is a risk, and therefore this information, very valid, May 29th, there are amendment made to the Consumer Protection Act, because this is related to consumer protection. So as per the act, as per the regulation, for generating bills, you don't have to share your mobile number with the shopkeeper.
Yeah, that is something very, very interesting and relevant, because I have purchased many things and I am compelled to give the phone number, and later on I was kind of stuck, because I used maybe 15 to 20 calls per day as a sales call, and sometimes asking for open plots, open land, or something like that, which is quite annoying at the time, because you are busy in some of your work, and then you receive these random calls which really make your life very miserable. And that is this act, which is the amendment which is being done. I think that is a kind of peace of mind for the consumer, and that is the way I think. But at the same time, I think the old habit dies, don't die really fast, and still this kind of thing will actually continue unless we have that information.
Well, I think it's important for people to know that it is not mandatory. I think the key lies in knowledge. You should know exactly when you're giving your mobile number to an unknown person, what could happen. That kind of awareness is important, and that is why we have included this important update for all the viewers, that from now there is no need, it is not mandatory to share your mobile number with anyone. And because if you start sharing your mobile number, it can get into wrong hands, it can go out of the country, from there you can get spams, and I'm sure you are seeing these spam calls from some countries, unknown numbers.
Yes, I have done that, and I've blocked also few of the number, and it's quite annoying actually at times.
Absolutely. So I think this is something which is, this is something which is very, very important, and we thought that we will, give it to you as a part of information. All right, let's move to the next subject. We will also take a very small break. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be back about information on Gpay. Don't go anywhere, friends. All right, friends, welcome back. And this is about Gpay. Very, very specific information, only relevant for India. Gpay is a Google payment platform, and India being such a large country, Gpay controls nearly 35% of the micro payment market in India, because Google has Gpay. Gpay is also available as an app, and it is linked with the government-owned micropayment platform, which is NPCA, also known as Beam. And information today is on May 29. In fact, it has been recently announced that Gpay is going to support Rupay card as well. So all the Indian banks, nationalized banks, which are the largest bank in the world, some of the largest top banks in the world, they provide Rupay card. If you are choice, if you are looking for Master or Visa, you can get that as well. But their mandate is to provide Rupay card, which is an Indian standard. And so far, Gpay was not supporting Rupay payments. So people who had the Rupay cards did not know how to basically make use of Gpay for money transfer, or also to avail services from Google platform itself. So this is a big deal. I personally say that it's a wow moment. Kanchan, what is your opinion?
Definitely, it's a wow moment, because the Rupay has given an identity to our own currency, and that is quite interesting upliftment of Indian economy, plus the Indian rupee. And when Google is using this Rupay, then I think everybody should go for it, especially Indian. They should buy the Rupay rather than going for Master or Visa cards. So that is something which is a wow moment, as you have said, and I think every Indian should agree to that and go for a Rupay card. And Rupay credit card, Rupay debit card, and of course, transaction in Rupay in all these micro payment zones.
And Rupay is actually absolutely free, because many people may not even know that whenever they use their Master and Visa, there is a small amount of fee which goes to Master and Visa. So Rupay is absolutely free. In fact, Rupay is now being launched in many other friendly countries outside India also, to enable free commerce in different countries between merchants of different countries. So I think it's a big deal, but I think it affects a lot of people, especially people who are providing digital services. And if you have the Gpay integrated with your website, now your website will be able to accept payment from a Rupay card system.
Yes, and that is something great, and that is something crucial, and I think this is the way to go actually forward, especially in Indian economy when we're talking about.
Yeah, so as I said, this is only specific to India, and certain people, they say that, look, I can transfer using Gpay. Now they can do that, because why they can transfer using Gpay is simply because they have a card which is integrated. Right. Or if they have not integrated, this is a time to integrate Rupay card with Gpay, so that they can make use of that on using a digital payments. All right, let's move to the next one. This is about Boris Johnson. I personally believe, Boris Johnson was a good prime minister the British had. What do you think, Kanchan?
Yes, I think he's the dynamic personality. He is a journalist, and he was popular when he came in the office of Prime Minister. So I think, and the kind of contribution he's done, the kind of work he's done, I think most of the Britishers, they appreciate his work. And as far as Indian ties are concerned, he is also kind of affirmative towards India. So I think that makes him based on a very sweet spot when we talk about Indian and British relationships.
And one more thing I'd like to share that, we have Arnab Goswami ji here as a famous anchor in India. So Boris Johnson used to run a very popular program in London. And he was very popular among the masses. That's how his popularity brought him to politics, and then eventually he became the Prime Minister of England, of UK. However, what happened today on May 29th was in the year 2019, he was summoned by the court. So you can imagine how important this information is, that being a Prime Minister, he has been summoned by the court because of certain remarks he made during the Britain exit from the EU, which is known as Brexit. And when he was actually for Brexit, that is breaking apart from EU, Britain to break from EU. And there was a referendum done within the UK whether they want to be part of EU or not. Now he himself was in favor of breaking away from EU, and he made certain statement. Because of that, he was called to the court to give clarification. So it is important because he was a prime minister. Calling him to a court is important, isn't it? What do you think?
I think the court under law, actually, there's nobody is being under law, and I think that is kind of impression which is being given by court. And if you have done something wrong, I think you should be liable to approach if court is calling you and asking you the explanation. So I think that is what Boris Johnson has done, and that is how I think more crystal clear clarity is there when we are running a political office, when you are head of any political party, and if you have done something which is not appropriate, then and court is asking explanation. I think this fair enough.
Well, I think the important thing here is that when the Britain or the UK decided to walk out of EU, then the concerns were so different. In India we are talking about our own issues. Each country has their issue, but their major concern was, you can get out of EU, but their major concern was about fishing and trucking.
Right.
That played a major role. So I think in that regard, Boris Johnson would have said certain things, and because UK being a democratic country where the rule of law prevails, being a prime minister, he was called to the court where he had to give his explanation. So I think this is important, which happened today. And this is how most countries should be. Nobody should be above law, even though you are prime minister of the country. Let's move on quickly to the next one. And this is about space. When we are looking at going out away from Earth, settling into Mars, and explore other habitable planets. At the same time, our telescopes and satellites are also exploring the habitable planets. And important thing is that recently NASA has found not one but two super Earth in the same solar system, nearly 140 light years away. Two super Earth. So are you excited, Kanchan, about this?
Actually, I'm very excited, and you see, I am all maybe 200% agree with the space exploration, because that gives you kind of insight and knowledge around you, what's happening around you, what kind of planet you have, are there any living organisms which are present in other planets. So that is, I'm quite excited about it. And when we talk about super Earth, a planet which is very, very similar to the Earth. And when we talk about Earth, it is full of life, vibrant colors, vibrant light. a different type of life, and similar kind of thing if it is available outer space. I think that is something very good. But again, you see, I always feel caution when is there any more intelligent species which is prevalent in the super Earth, or something who is on inception phase like amoeba or bacterial life only. So that is quite a concern, and that is what when Carl Sagan has sent a plate of mentioning human DNA and certain things in outer space. That at that point of time it was said that yeah, it is a good thing, we are doing good thing. But later on, the scientists realized that it was not a correct move, because we don't know what kind of civilization is there on the other planet which is habitable.
Well, I think the scientists now believe that the super Earth are more habitable than Earth. You mentioned about habitability. Earth is full of life. Every point on Earth has some sort of life, right? But the scientists now believe that the super Earth are even more habitable because they are much bigger planet, at least twice the size of Earth, to up to 10 times. And because of the increased size, increased volume of the planet, obviously the super Earth will have more gravity, and since it has more gravity, it will have ability to attract more material. That means it will have abundance of hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, etc., etc. So all the elements will be in abundance available on a super Earth. And if the elements are available in abundance, then there will be better chemistry. That means there will be better mixture is possible on super Earth. That is why this information is very important, that we have seen in the same system not one but two super Earth planet which are bigger than Earth, thicker atmosphere, all kinds of elements being available, and in a smaller star. That means the star will shine for at least 3 trillion years. Our sun will die in next 5 billion years from now. The red dwarf stars have a very, very long life. That means these planets, if there are civilizations existing, those civilizations will be of a special kind, much more complex, because chemistry has got more time to play. The star system is stable, and super Earth itself is much bigger. That means more material for Earth, for life to evolve. What do you think about this?
Yes, definitely. That, as I said, it is definitely the points you are mentioning. They are quite crucial, and it could be possible. But the whole worry is that if there's a contact which is being done, it will be a contact of friendship, or maybe a contact of enemy contact. That is what is more concerning, because nowadays when you see there are a lot of bacterial which are infected human race. There was corona, there was smallpox, there was earlier in last century there was so many viruses which encountered by Homo sapiens, and they have come up. They have conquered that, and they have half of the population died due to that, and later on they became victorious. But same thing happened to the contact of new civilization, which is outer space. The contact will be good or bad, that we have to evaluate. Will it lead to the prosperity of human beings, or it will do? That is one concern, which is quite crucial and quite valid, I think.
Well, I think you are watching too many movies. This system is 140 light years away. Even if we send hello, it will take 140 years to reach, and then when they reply, hey, hello, hi, it will take another. So by the time couple of generations have passed.
Okay.
So this
Maybe
place.
new findings will come, a new way of protection may also emerge. I think that is also could be possible.
Well, I think the first contact will be through AI. That's my opinion. But interesting thing is that not one, but two locations in the same solar system having super Earth planet, and both are in habitable zone of the super. Like for example, for us, we have been exploring Mars, but we have not found the second location in our own solar system where there is so much life as we have on Earth so far.
Right.
But there is a possibility of two Earth having life, separate evolutionary pattern evolving in the same solar system. So that is very interesting. Let's move to the next one. This is about the moon, and as you know that in India also there is a private sector industry coming up in the area of space and space exploration. So ESA, which is the European Space Agency, they are basically looking for ideas from everybody, citizens of the earth, how to basically make a settlement on the surface of the moon, what systems we would need, how so contribution from everyone. And that is they have started a contest, so people with ideas how they can establish permanent habitation on the moon for humans. For that there is a contest which is going on. So I think I personally very excited. I have some ideas which I'm going to share with ESA. What about you, Kanchan?
Well, I will also share my ideas in Isha and how to do a settlement on the moon. But if you ask me that I will be going and settling down on moon, that is kind of something which I will not be doing, because I really love Earth.
Well, moon is a part of Earth. It belongs to us. It evolved from Earth, and it is part of our solar system. Moon is our own satellite. So essentially, even if you go to the moon and settle down, you have your own summer house or a winter house, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, you will not be leaving Earth. You will be part of the Earth only. It is not like you're going to Mars.
I think then in that case there is a lot of queue which will be there. I think my number will come very late.
Well, number will come if your idea is accepted by ESA.
Okay, fine. So I will start working on the idea today today onwards.
All right. So the important thing is that if you go to moon, you will not be able to access any resources from the Earth. You have to use the resources which are available on moon, and we know that we need oxygen, we need food, we need water. How do we generate that on the moon? I think that is where the scientific community is going to participate in this context and give a holistic idea. I think that is where it is all boiling.
It's very critical thing, and how to generate our own living on moon, like something like food and water, which is not there on moon. So I think that is where whoever is participating, I think these are the guidelines you should be working.
And also the fuel, once you land on the moon, if you have to return, you need to fuel your spacecraft. Right. So you need to generate fuel as well. All right, let's move to the next one. So interested people, if you have ideas, please contact ESA, European Space Agency, and participate in the contest. Go to their website, check out the contest. Now, this is something absolutely interesting, and I'm sure our viewers may not be aware about this incident. There was a novel published in the year 2009 called 1Q84. It was published in Japan. There are three novels. So 1 and 2, part 1 and part 2 was published in 2009 on May 29th by a Japanese writer, and the third novel was published later. Important thing is, this novel has a crazy name, 1Q84. What does it mean, right? Obviously, it must be something to do with some science. Of course, it is science, but it is also fiction. And this book, 1 and 2, they were sold out on the same day. So this is why it is important, and we thought that since it happened today, the only novel written, published, launched, sold out on the single day, it's an event by itself. So we will talk about this novel, but are you surprised about this?
I think this is more related to the latest space related subjects in this book, and that is why it has created a stir and created interest of the buyers, and that is could be the cause that it is purchased on one day, and that is rare moment for the writer. That is for sure.
Well, the novel was sold out, and the story is about a woman who actually accidentally steps into a parallel universe where she has a totally different role. In our universe, she is a mother, a wife, etc. But when she steps into another parallel universe, she is a spy. So her life completely changes, and then she keeps trying to return to her original alternative universe.
Oh, that's
So
quite interesting actually.
yeah, that is why it was sold out in the same day. It's that is why it happened on May 29th in the year 2009. uh, Subsequently, there were a lot of reviews done. The novel was already sold out by the time. Later on, the review masters, as we say, different Rotten Tomatoes, and all kinds of reviews are done on media, movies, etc. Similarly, there is review done, and they found a lot of loopholes in the story, but that is all post facto. As far as the novel was concerned, it was sold out on the same day, not even a month.
Right.
It's a very rare occurrence.
Yes. But I think maybe the kind of preliminary notes which is being given by writer must have been impacted the buyer, and that has created a stir. And that because everybody wants to know about parallel universe, everybody wants to know universe. They want to go in the space. They want to know the more knowledge of the planet and alien species. All these subjects are quite okay when we talk about novel writing. So I think this is one thing which is remarkable. At the same time, I think it was inhabitable.
All right, so let's move to the next one. And some of us may be remembering this. I mean, people like you and me would remember. We were in school at the time in the year 1989 on May 29th, where the pro-democracy protest was organized, huge protest in a prominent location in capital of China called Tiananmen Square, which is just outside the Forbidden City. And this was brutally crushed. So I think today they started it. Kanchan, what is your memory? Must be in the school.
I really feel that when we have the largest population which is living in a country like China, and you don't have a voting right, you cannot express your ideas. I think that is something I feel bad about it, because in India we express our opinion on everything, and here there's a country who is in largest in population, where people are confined, they are not open with and they cannot express their ideas. They just live and die without expressing their opinion. And so I feel sorry about that. And when we talk about this revolution, which is the student revolution, which happened, and I clearly remember the kind of hue and cry which is being done in world media, and many countries were against that. Many countries supported the students. So I think this is a kind of a very sorrowful memory, not only for China but for all humanity, where we are lacking freedom.
Yes, I think so. I fully second you there. And while protesting, these students, they were all very young people. They believed they wanted liberty and democracy, freedom of all kinds, basically. So they looked at Statue of Liberty, which was a gift to America by France, as something that they can achieve also in China. And they actually created this small statue there, which was similar to Statue of Liberty, and they called it Goddess of Democracy. So things like that. And today this movement was started, but later on it was crushed very brutally. We don't want to talk about it. I think this is the information which happened today on May 29th. All right, let's move to the next one. This is about Charles de Gaulle. So I personally like to read about Second World War. Charles de Gaulle was the general of the French army, and after the Nazis occupied the entire France, Charles de Gaulle basically controlled his army from exile from UK, south of England on the southern coast, and from there he actually fought the Nazi forces along with the Allies. So he was also heading uh, the underworld, or so-called of resistance, which was operating in France and which played a major role in overthrowing Nazi setup in France. So today he became the president of France. 1949 he formed a French government on May 29. Important incident for people of France.
Definitely, it's a quite important incident because France has already undergone so many revolutions, French Revolution, which has definitely left a scar on the heart of the people. And I think that is a very important date when there is some stabilization and the government, installation of government is done. So that is something which is quite interesting and quite favorable, at least for France, and that gave the way as we see France today.
And also, Charles de Gaulle is such a towering figure in France. They actually take a lot of inspiration from this charismatic leader. He actually led them from this Nazi occupation out and then made them a free country again. The Charles de Gaulle Airport is also named after him in Paris. It's one of the largest airport in Europe and also one of the largest in the world. All right, let's move to the next information. And this is about Everest.
So actually it is today on 29th of May, Edmund Hillary and
Tenzing Norgay.
Tenzing Norgay, who has climbed the Mount Everest for the first time and became two people who have climbed the Everest for the first time in the world, and that is important news, and that also gave way to other young climbers to go ahead and conquer Mount Everest. So it's an important day today, and I think that is kind of news which should be cherished, especially for young mountaineering. This is an important day. They should understand, they should read about the two people, how they have done, so that they can make their own strategies if they are planning to conquer and climb the Mount Everest.
Well, Kanchan, I think why Everest is important because it is so high. It's very, very high. In fact, these two gentlemen, Tenzing Norgay and Edmund Hillary, who was a climber from New Zealand, their expedition was supported by the UK government, and they were funded by the UK government. And with that funding, they actually attempted to climb the Everest and conquer it probably. However, these two gentlemen were pioneers in finding the right path. That is very important because before that, nobody knew how to climb the summit.
Right.
So, and they also found that there is a death zone in the mountain itself. When we say there's a death zone, that means for a period of nearly 20 minutes, you are in the death area. That means if you stay more than 20 minutes, you will certainly die. So there is a zone in Everest at a certain cutoff point where you don't want to stay there. Today, Everest is the most visited, one of the most visited place. There is a queue going on there, but it all started in 1953 on May 29th, where these two smiling faces for the first time stood on the summit. Of course, not for very long, otherwise we wouldn't have this photograph, and then returned back. So all this planning, how much oxygen they had to carry, how they have to find way, which path to take, their path which they found is still followed today.
That is something, that's a great contribution, these two people. That's why we are able to really, young people, they are able to really climb the Mount Everest seamlessly.
Absolutely. Let's move to the next one. And this is about the toaster. We have toasters, pop-up toasters on every dining table across the world, everywhere in the world. Without this, we will not be able to even enjoy our breakfast with butter. So, May 29th, 1990, when the patent for the first pop-up toaster was filed, and then this device was introduced to the world, where all you have to do is take the 2 slices of the bread, put it in the toaster, and it will pop up automatically. All you have to do, just eat it.
Yeah, that is a quite interesting day today, because otherwise it have been quite difficult to make lot of varieties of toast without this toaster. I think so.
So it is important, how certain inventions and certain things which scientists work. As you can see that this was developed by Charles Tright, and he filed the patent. But this simple, humble device changed the world.
Right.
Across the world. You
Right.
go to any country, you will see a toaster.
Yes, yes.
All right, let's move to the next one. Again, 1990, and this is about the theory of relativity. And the theory of relativity was given by Einstein in 1905. However, no theory is considered as a gospel truth unless it is proven by a physical experiment. So, in the year 1919, on May 29th, an expedition was planned to study whether the light will bend because of the sun's gravity. And there was a solar eclipse actually forming on that day, on May 29th. And Arthur Eddington planned this expedition to travel to Africa from US, and because there was a complete full solar eclipse in Africa on a place called Principe Island in the African continent. And the idea was to basically see if they can see the star which is originally hidden by the sun. So during an eclipse, if they can see the star, that means the light has come like this and then bend and then coming towards Earth during an eclipse. That was the idea. Important proof of Einstein theory of relativity, which happened today. You have anything to say?
Yeah, actually, as you said, though Einstein is a great in theory of relativity, but then again we have to go forward, and this kind of incident which happened today in 1990. So I think it's a quite add on to the findings of science, and that is adding on to the gravity and the light of how it bands, and the theory of relativity has been enhanced to this study.
Of course, because the theory was given 15 years prior to this experiment, almost 14 years. So it took scientists to basically grapple their mind, think how the relativity is, and in those days it would have been very difficult to even understand what happens. Today we know what is relativity, but in those days, so for the first time, in order to prove the theory which was given by the fellow scientist, Arthur Eddington planned this trip and the expedition.
Right.
Let's move to the next one. This is about the Coca-Cola. And the Coca-Cola was actually invented by an American pharmacist, John Pemberton, who was a chemist. And he was trying to come up with a wake-up syrup. People used to drink a lot in their pubs, and they used to, lie here and there, helter-skelter. So he wanted to create a quick something which can actually wake them up and remove the intoxication of the liquor. But unfortunately, he was not successful. However, he actually created the Coca-Cola.
Well, actually good for him and for us also, because I like Coca-Cola whenever I am thirsty and go out. So I think it's a good drink, and this has the Coca-Cola itself has created waves in the market, in the drinking. I mean, with the kind of cold drink market. So I think that is something good, and if it has happened today, so that is wonderful. So I think we are, after this show, I will be going and taking a sip from Coca-Cola bottle.
The year was 1886 when the patent was filed, and he actually started actively selling the Coke.
Right.
And he actually started selling Coke as a medicine, by the way.
Oh.
Because he owned a pharmacy.
Okay.
All right, let's move to the next one. So we have come to the end of the show, and we can end by appreciating our new parliament, Indian parliament, the largest parliament building anywhere in the world, and this is definitely a wow moment. Last word from you, Kanchan.
I'm very happy that the parliament has emerged as it has now, and I also feel that the new tradition of keeping scepter, which connects the modern and the antiquity from the Chola Empire to modern India, that is something which is quite appreciable, and whosoever has suggested our government, our prime minister keeping scepter, and it is kind of related to forward transfer, which is again very good indication. A part of all goodness, I think I always see goodness in the new parliament, and there's a lot of light in the from the window which pour in towards the main halls, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha hall. So that also making less of electricity consumption. So that is also one point. So all in all, it's a good, and as you said, it's the largest parliament in the world. So very, very proud of it.
So friends, thanks for watching. My name is Chandrakant.
My name is Kanchan.
See you tomorrow, same
Bye-bye.
time. Bye-bye.